All right. Big fight, at least in my opinion, coming up next, not this Saturday, but the following Saturday with Gervonta Tank Davis and Yuriokis Gamboa for I do believe the WBA regular lightweight title. Yuriokis Gamboa says there is nothing new and nothing he has not seen from Gervonta Davis, so he's not sweating him. Let's talk about Gervonta Davis, what's going on in the lightweight division and this fight in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel, subscribers. If you're not subscribed, I hope you accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so you can know when we release more content. Also, thank you so much to everybody that supports the new members to the channel. Also, everybody that supports over on the Patreon and in the live streams we do Monday through Friday around 11:15 a.m. Central Standard Time, 12:15 Eastern Standard Time, and also the week ending show. God, man, I was about to say Trill Boxing Talk. Can you believe it? OG Boxing Talk at 8 a.m. on Sundays with myself, Blood Boxing, KQKC Boxing, Trap House Boxing, Curtis Anderson, the boxing historian. All right, so let's get into this. Hey, I'm looking forward to this fight because I always look forward to Gervonta Tank Davis fights. Okay, now I know there's a bunch of people out there that either don't like Floyd Mayweather Jr., or they don't like the PBC, or they don't like both. And they got complaints about who Gervonta Davis is fighting, who he's not fighting. I get all of that. I personally think Gervonta Davis is one of the best fighters in boxing. I think he's one of the most talented. I think that he is one of the most skilled. And I think that he is one of the most exciting fighters to watch. I love watching Gervonta Davis fights. I'm looking forward to Gervonta Davis's fights, especially since he's seemingly calmed down a lot of the nonsense that goes on outside of the ring that he was being associated with, a couple years ago. He's not missing weight. He's not getting into fights, having people, getting arrested or having charges put on him for this, that, and the other thing. The young man seems like he's settling excellently. His city of Baltimore is behind him. He also is getting a lot of push. He's selling out. One of the things people are not talking about with Gervonta Davis is the fact that this is one of the few guys in boxing that are selling out venues in multiple cities. Sold out in LA, sold out in Baltimore. Rumor has it that he's going to sell out in Atlanta, Georgia as well. Could have something to do with the fact that he's promoted by Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Floyd Mayweather Jr. is really learning his craft, or Leonard Ellerbe is learning his craft as the guy that runs Mayweather Promotions. Or it could just be Gervonta Davis is hell of exciting because you continually seeing this guy knock people out. Now, this particular fight with Yuriokis Gamboa is I think it's a bit of a step up fight. He's fought somebody I think is more competitive earlier in his career in Jose Pedraza, but over the last several fights, he has been fighting guys that fight a specific way, kind of flat-footed fighters. There's not a lot to them, but some of them were former world champions, but none of these guys really had a name that they know that resonates in the boxing world, right? I think Francisco Fonseca was a good fighter. Hugo Chavez is a good fighter. These guys are people that other guys, I can't remember the name of the other guy, they actually were former title holders in lower weight classes. These guys are legitimate fighters, man, but because their names don't really resonate, I don't think Gervonta Davis was getting a lot of credit from certain people for knocking these dudes out. That's not the case with Yuriokis Gamboa. Yuriokis Gamboa is something of a known commodity. He at one point in time down at featherweight, I do believe, featherweight, where he was a killer at featherweight. At 126 pounds, the dude was a killer at 126 pounds. He's an Olympic gold medalist from Cuba, very, very strong, kind of fought like, at featherweight, like a young Mike Tyson. Like a Mike Tyson style of fighter, very quick-handed, very fast, not the most fundamentally sound, but tremendously athletically gifted. Then he moved up to, when he moved up to 130, he was doing well at 130. He moved up to 135, and that's where he hit a wall. He hit a wall named Terrence Crawford, and then he also hit a wall named 50 Cent from the promotional aspect. And his career kind of fizzled, and he winds up at an absolute low point in his career, fighting on ESPN and getting beat by Robinson Castellano out of Mexico. Robin Hood. Haven't seen Robin Hood in a while. Robin Hood went on ahead and got kind of ripped off against Giselle Corrales. Got robbed by, I think he got messed over by Jarrell Corrales, and the fight got stopped on cuts. But I digress. I like Robinson Castellano, but that was a low point in Yuriokis Gamboa's career. Lately, he's been rebuilding it again. His last fight was where he got built up the most. He looked good, but admittedly, it was against a guy, Roman Martinez, who I think he had one win in the last 3 years. And the fight before that, he came back, so he fought in 2016, got knocked out by Vasily Lomachenko. Didn't fight again until the beginning of this year. Took one fight, then got knocked out by Yuriokis Gamboa. So nothing really, a name on Yuriokis Gamboa's resume. Another chance to get a win and get into winning ways and look good in doing it. Setting him up for this fight with Gervonta Davis. Now, obviously, the problem here with this fight is this: that you have one guy who is 37 years old, and you have another guy that is 25 years old. You have a guy that was probably never technically sound and as good a fighter as Gervonta Davis, now in the later portions of his career, fighting a couple weight classes up from where he was at his best against a young dude, a young, strong, fast guy who's gonna go for the kill, man. And a southpaw at that. Now, Gervonta, the one guy that did knock out, straight up stop Yuriokis Gamboa, was somebody that fought primarily in the southpaw stance, and that was Terrence Crawford at 135 pounds. Now, Terrence Crawford obviously was a very, very big 135 pounder, but also that was, like I said, that was several years ago. I think that was back in 2000. That might have been back in, was it 2015 that fight took place, like 4 years ago. So, Yuriokis Gamboa is going to take a slide. So clearly I anticipate some exciting moments in this fight. Now, Yuriokis Gamboa says that, there's nothing he has not seen in Gervonta Davis. If he has seen that before, if he's seen Gervonta Davis before, something like Gervonta Davis before, maybe it was the southpaw Terrence Crawford, but other than that, other than Terrence Crawford fighting at southpaw, switching to southpaw, I don't see where he's seen this before. Maybe he saw it in Cuba, maybe he saw it in the Olympics. I don't know what he's talking about, because I haven't seen Yuriokis Gamboa in the ring with anything that remotely looks like Gervonta Davis. That said, I still believe that it's going to be an entertaining fight in moments, because there's danger associated with it. Because Yuriokis Gamboa can crack. Yuriokis Gamboa, his speed has decreased, so clearly Gervonta Davis is going to be able to, if I can see Gervonta Davis punishing Yuriokis Gamboa, but there's going to be that element of danger associated with it, because Yuriokis Gamboa does have the power to knock you out if he gets his hands on you. And he is a vet. And I don't believe he's going to come in there scared. I think he's going to come in there to fight. He's got the championship, the championship pedigree. So, but I'm not going to act like I think that this is going to be anything other than, a mid-round stoppage. Probably a mid-round stoppage for Gervonta Davis. I think that this is going to be the first guy in a while that is going to be able to take a good amount of punishment from Gervonta Davis. And I think what Yuriokis is going to do, what I believe he's going to do, is the same thing that he did with Terrence Crawford, and the same thing that Jose Benavidez did with Jose Pedraza did with Gervonta Davis to give him a little problems, which is to switch to southpaw and make it a southpaw fight. With Yuriokis Gamboa was fighting Terrence Crawford. The majority of his success that he had was when he fought southpaw with with Terrence Crawford. But when he switched back to orthodox, that's when he really started getting stuck real heavy, when he went back to his more comfortable stance, which is the orthodox stance. Same thing for Jose Pedraza against Tank Davis. Tank Davis, who's a southpaw, when he started, I believe Jose Pedraza fought the majority of that fight in the southpaw stance with Gervonta Davis, and he was actually throwing Gervonta off a little bit and slowing him down. Not a lot, but he slowed him down a little by staying in that stance. But once he switched, once Gervonta Pedraza switched back to orthodox, it was a wrap. So that's how I kind of see the fight going. I see Yuriokis Gamboa fighting in the southpaw stance against Gervonta Davis for a while, and then eventually making that shift and getting knocked out. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.